Good evening, everybody, and welcome to IRL's round 14 of the 15-round season. My name is Webbo, and we are very pleased to welcome you all with us. We are here in no small part thanks to our sponsors GT Omega, Nelcut Hall Hotel Golf and Country Club, and our partners Driver61 and Gridfinder.com. We are attacking qualifying in a dry Singapore qualifying session. Our champion Daniele has not been able to make it tonight, but Foxy, Max and Speed Queen are gunning for second place in the championship. Foxy needs to score a small amount of points, but he needs to be comprehensively outscored by Max and Speed Queen in order to try and challenge that second place. And similarly in the Manufacturers Championship, Alfa Romeo have secured that win, but Mercedes, McLaren, AlphaTauri are all chasing behind. Out there on track right now, we currently have Livingwall in our Aston Martin, and he's currently heading towards the turn 7 overtaking opportunity on the track. You just get a good overspeed using the DRS into turn 8, very tight here, and into another slightly tight but fairly wide exit, turn 9. Short sprint down towards the turn 10 blind entry, and he just rubbed the outside wall. Then it's that tricky section as we approach the Anderson Bridge, head over the rails and down into the hairpin of turn 13. Another little short squirt of a straight. Pick your braking point. Very difficult to spot all the braking markers here. Down into second or third gear for turn 14. 15's nothing, followed by another very similar turn 16. Nice little curb on the inside to help hook the car in. Then we're going to go underneath the grandstand, back around it and around again towards the final sector of the lap. We'll be heading straight towards the Singapore wheel as we go into the final corner. That's turn 22 and 23, double left-hander, double apex, and it's a 36.388 for Livingwall. I think we are expecting some weather issues tonight. I think we might get some rain in the race, and that's certainly going to be very interesting for our drivers to tackle. Liam out there on a lap, but I think Foxy is the next one on track. He is, but he's made a mistake. So let's have a look at Reshka, who follows him just behind and has managed to stay valid. Reshka in the Red Bull, metallic purple helmet for tonight with shining in the street lights. Reshka 36.795. There's some early and very close times already. I think our third place currently driver Max needs his first win of the championship, really. Max is going for it, and wow, that's a good pole time at 36.315, and gets a nice time in there. The Burmeister is out, and he is on his way into the pits, unfortunately. Speed Queen is just finishing her out lap, so I think we'll follow Martin, who also has invalidated. Wow, it's very easily done around here. I think maybe Kimi has also invalidated. Goodness me. Martin has retired from the session, believe it or not. And then we've got some drivers going round for their second runs. I think Foxy is just navigating the second sector at the moment. Hi to Mary, who joins us. I haven't heard from Abby yet. Where's Burmeister's #1 fan? No hello from Abby. If you're watching, and everybody who's watching, do say hello on the live chat, and make sure that you tell us who you're here to support, and cheer them on as much as possible. If you see anything on the chat, I'm on my own tonight. My name is Webbo. I've been your commentator the whole season, and unfortunately our normal co-commentator Lightning is on his sick bed, or possibly his deathbed. I'm not entirely sure, but here's to hoping he improves by next week for the finale. Foxy Red passes a stranded soft tyre shod wheel on the start finish straight, but doesn't affect him. He goes pole on a 36.218. Beautiful stuff from our current second place in the championship driver. Looks like a lot of drivers heading into the pits, but Matty in the Williams is now attacking his first attempt at a hot lap. It's difficult to get all your laps in here. And you need to try and get 3 fast laps in over the 18 minutes of qualifying. And we've had a warning from our race steward that the race will often go to over an hour of runtime. So very excellent stuff. Abby is here. She's supporting Burmeister, of course, not Foxy. Don't make that mistake. But Abby is here to cheer on Burmeister. DXT Matty 22, P6 a 37.808. It's a banker, and he'll start ahead of Martin at least. It must have been Martin's parts of his car that were totaled on the exit, on the entrance to the pits. Possibly, I don't wish to speculate too hard, but possibly hit the pit wall. And we've got a couple of drivers out there on outlaps, yet to start their next attacking lap. Just the Burmeister, of course, running right now. Martin said, "Who put that curb there?" So it's clearly one of the famous F1 2021 spec curbs that's caught him out. Doesn't this Alfa Romeo dark red look good in the streetlights? I think it looks absolutely glorious out there. Charlie says that Foxy's received some threats if he does not win in Daniele's absence. Well, Max has got something to say about that, I'm sure, as has Speed Queen. And we get a nice close-up of that stranded wheel, but marshals are reluctant to clear just yet. And who can blame them when we've got these quality drivers on fast laps? Burmeister then through successfully turns 1, 2 and 3. Turn 4 is the setup for the longest straight on the track as we head through turn 5 into 6 now, and then towards the overtaking opportunity turn 7. A purple sector, but that's just relative to his own time at the moment, having not set a time yet. Burmeister got a lot of drivers coming out for outlaps as well. All the leaders apart from Foxy and Matty coming out, but Burmeister and Speed Queen absolutely need to nail this one. That's right, Joel. Unfortunately, only 11 drivers tonight. I was hoping to see something special from our reigning champion, but he's been unable to attend tonight, unfortunately. I hope the celebrations from last week have not lasted so long. Another purple for Burmeister, so keeping the lap alive as we head now into very technical and 90-degree section of 16-17. Now heading towards turn 18 underneath the grandstand. Turn 19. Savour this, because this section of track will be cleared for the next iteration of the Singapore Grand Prix, whenever that one may be. And turns 22 and 23 are taken as one, and a 37.710, just enough to get him off the back of the timed lap grid so far for Burmeister. I think Speed Queen just finishing off her lap into the 3rd sector now. Yeah, certainly is unfortunate, but I'm sure the drivers will be trying their hardest to put on a good show, and they don't want to be the first one to exit the race tonight, because that means everybody else gets points. So Speed Queen looking like she's heading into the pits, unhappy on that lap, but not having put in a time just yet, unfortunately for her. It looks like Reshka has invalidated his next attempt, and we've got Livingwall on a lap right now. Let's join him as he heads towards the end of sector 2. We'll get an idea about where his lap is. He's a quarter of a second up with a purple middle sector, so Livingwall nailing this first 2 sectors of the track. A quarter of a second would see him on pole position, so such is the field spread, or lack thereof, that Livingwall is challenging for pole here, with the walls welcoming any mistake-ridden driver. It's always a good idea to get in these laps, taking that last 2 corners beautifully, and Livingwall with a new pole position of a 36.107, and dare we hope for a 135 tonight. I wonder, Max is faster than he's been before. He's a 10th.5 faster. Heading now into the 90-degree sector. The heat shouldn't be affecting our drivers tonight in their respective race rooms, unless they've decided to simulate the climate inside their in their room, in which case it'd be rainforest conditions, as Max goes P1, 35.929, the first driver into the 35s. And that's how it's done from Max. What about Foxy? What's Foxy got to say about it? We're joining him just at the start of his lap. He's only 5 corners through it so far, and running the car very wide and maximising the size of this track. Obviously, track limits, penalties, only really tripped up if you go over some of these false curbs on the inside. Running wide tends not to be so much of a difficulty around here with the walls lining the track limits. Again, Foxy very wide, using every inch of the track. Liam unfortunately says that he has had an internet death and may well not even start this race tonight. Unfortunately, Liam, who does so much to support the league, is our race coordinator for this division, and unfortunately looks like he would play no further part. He and Matty are the most active members of the division. So Foxy progressing well through this lap. Just hanging the car in 5th gear, and he just left a tiny amount, just slipped outside the bounds of the track on the exit of the final corner, and unfortunately that was enough. That was enough to say goodnight to that time. It's all the pressure on the next one, with Max now the provisional pole sitter at 1:35.929 as we finish up the second of 3 opportunities for fast laps here. No one chancing the medium tyres. There's no point if we're going to have a wet start to the race. I've been told anything from wet to dry, or dry to wet, or wet the whole way through, so who knows. Matty, P6, 37.164 is his next good time. So what about Speed Queen? What has she got underneath her at the moment? Finishing out the... well, she's about halfway through the second sector, about halfway around the lap altogether. Nice use of the apexes. Just needs to avoid the car bottoming out. Car looking right on the limit of adhesion through the Anderson Bridge section. DRS open. We'll race towards the second timing beam, see where this one gets us. It's a 103.671, the second sector. Of course, there are tracks where 103 is about the whole lap time. So we are running, it's almost an endurance event around Singapore. Such a long race. Very useful that the advertising hoardings around the track are differently coloured depending on where you are. Singapore Airlines now finishing the track off, and it's a P3 for Speed Queen, deposing Foxy, 36.208 versus Foxy's 2.18. Very, very close indeed out there. So Big Bambino is on an outlap, Burmeister is on an outlap, and so is Kimi. Kimi about to start his lap, I believe. No, scratch that. It's I think it's Reshka who's currently driving a lap just ahead of Kimi's car. So we'll see how Reshka gets on, because he's the one attacking the lap at the moment. 3/10 faster. Currently a 36.795. 3/10 will see him up to P5. And he'll be looking for a little bit more than that. But of course the big guns are out there at the front of the grid, and they know that it's all about qualifying position out here tonight. We're looking to see how many drivers can actually get to the end of this race. Ivan has already put his prediction in, 8 finishes. Ivan, I think that's adventurous. I think, given that we're likely to have 10 starters, I think we're going to be down to 6. That's my prediction. Reshka with a 6/10 improvement overall, P5 indeed it is, and that will do nicely for Reshka. There won't be time to finish another lap out though for Reshka unless he manages to use this one. Big Bambino's outlap has been invalidated, but no big drama there. I think we've got Speed Queen, is she going round again? She has gone slightly quicker. She did a second lap, I believe, and has gone even quicker. 36.001 for Speed Queen on the second lap on those soft tyres. Absolutely masterful stuff. Brilliant, brilliant driving from Speed Queen. Outlap at the moment for Foxy. I don't know if Reshka is forcing the issue. What about Kimi as well? We'll see. Kimi just up ahead on the track. Where's Kimi's next sector? As Max takes the checkered flag and will not go for another lap. I think Livingwall and Foxy has also Foxy's also taken the checker, so won't go any quicker than P4. So starting a little bit higher than he is used to in this league. So he'll only have 3 cars ahead. We'll give him a good fair shout at a possible win tonight. And we've heard from his engineer what his consequences are going to be if he doesn't do it. Kimi right at the death of the session at 35.850 deposes everybody. Kimi from the back, having not put a single time together, but Kimi does it, and fantastic stuff from Kimi. Burmeister is on a lap 2, finishing his lap out. Big Bambino with a new pole, a massive pole time of a 35.530. What's Burmeister got? Can he get up there? Is the track improving? Not for Burmeister. P8 it is. So, wow, fantastic stuff from Big Bambino, popping in that time right at the death. But talk about the death, I think that is about all she wrote. Speed Queen and Livingwall are touring slowly. Big Bambino and Kimi blowing the field away at the end of qualifying with those fantastic times. Max and Speed Queen will be the second row, followed by Livingwall, Foxy, Reshka, Burmeister, Matty. Liam, we don't think we're going to see in the race, and Martin, who crashed out against the pit wall, or at least the final corner. Certainly that's where his wheel still lies. So unfortunately for Martin, he's been sitting out of this qualifying session for a long period now. Well, that was quite a good qualifying session, and if the race is anything, if that's anything to go by, the race is going to be pretty cool. I do expect, especially with some changeable conditions predicted. Let me know your predictions, as Ivan has done in the live chat. I think we know Abby's prediction. I think we know Charlie's promise, but it's Big Bambino for Canada, for Haas, who takes the pole position, 3/10 faster than Kimi in second place. Then Max, looking to try and prevent Foxy getting second place in the championship tonight, but needs to outscore him significantly. Then Speed Queen, Livingwall, Foxy Red in 6th. Reshka's in 7th with Burmeister, Matty, and as I say, Liam may not take the grid, but Martin will definitely be at the back. There's just a moment there for you to make sure you've liked the video tonight. Please exit the live chat and press the like button. I'd like to see, we're trying to go for 20 likes tonight, if at all possible, on the video. And just give us a subscribe. The social links to follow us on Twitter are at the top of the live chat as well. And I do broadcast on Twitter every time I go live on a stream. And there is the rain. It's not particularly heavy. It looks like we might end up with intermediate tyres out there for the start, potentially. We'll see what the drivers elect for, but I think that looks about into conditions. So the drivers will be dealing with more spray on their camera than I will have on my spectator view. So whatever we're seeing, I would probably reduce that visibility if you're imagining what the drivers are up to. and then we're expecting to see some drying conditions. So the decision about when to go, I would tend to look at Matty. Whenever Matty goes for dry tyres, it's usually about a lap later when everybody else jumps. So Matty tends to jump ahead of other people when it comes to the switch to dry tyres. Obviously, not lacking in the courage department is Matty. Hope you're enjoying being with us throughout this whole season. If you've got a highlight of the season or a favourite clip, do send it our way. I'd love to see what you've enjoyed so far. 7 wins out of 13 completed races so far for Daniele. Has to be something of a highlight. Wins with several other drivers as well. Foxy's had some great races, some great recoveries through the season, and Max has scored so many consistent podiums and points. We've seen some brilliant charges from Speed Queen, who's on a bit of a tear at the moment, having some great showing some great form at the end of this season. Just waiting now to give everybody the opportunity to sort out their setups. 2 wins for a Costa, who isn't with us tonight. Livingwall has won this year. So has Foxy. No wins for Max or Speed Queen yet, and they're hoping to set that straight before the end of the season. I believe we go to Mexico for the final round of our championship. 15 races we've managed to do. They've flown by. I'm coming up on my 150th race overall, not just for IRL, but I believe my 150th race, if all goes to plan, will be the finale of the IRL season. So expect a little bit of a party atmosphere next time out. Just hoping we don't have an issue. The get ready and ready up commands have been given out. Looks like we are going to get going, thankfully, and some good luck messages going out from Matty and Reshka. We'll be underway for you very shortly indeed. The rain seems to have increased slightly while we wait, so I wonder what the track's going to feel like for the drivers. Yeah, it looks like intermediate conditions for our drivers out here. Liam's car appears to be taking the start. Martin has gone solid, but no, it looks like Liam will be ghosted for this session. So Liam will not pick up points regardless of where his AI finishes, unfortunately. Liam having some internet trouble. There's quite a lot of standing water out there in Singapore. And with the humidity levels, it may not clear up too quickly. Obviously, there's no sunlight on the track, and it's all about how the climatic conditions change and the drivers can stick to the racing line out there. Matty and P9, as I say, expect to see him have a good race out there tonight. Good on tricky conditions, maybe lacking slightly on overall quali pace, but usually makes up for it. Burmeister, is he a Rainmeister or is he just a Meister of Burr? I'm not sure. We'll find out tonight as the rain lights are on the back of the car. Reshka, P7, kind of middle of the road tonight, Reshka. And then Foxy looking to try and get that second place in the championship tonight. Needs to stay reasonably close to Speed Queen and Max, but doesn't need any heroics unless you believe his race engineer team, who are usually screaming at him and spamming the chat from time to time if things are going his way, or if they aren't, or if they're just in the middle. They're still very active members of the audience and engineering. Then Livingwall up there in P5 temporarily was up a lot further up in our grid, but beaten out there to the front. We've got Speed Queen and Max both gunning for second place in the championship versus Foxy. Both need to outscore Foxy by a huge amount of points. I think Speed Queen needs a win to a Foxy DNF to keep this one alive. Max then also needs a win out of this season, hasn't had one yet, and has been on the podium plenty of times, and suffering a little bit of late season drop in form, or drop in results I should say at least. Big Bambino then, fabulous pole for our Canadian Haas driver, and came out of nowhere, and Kimi must be wondering what he's got to do because he almost had it. So tyres, everybody with intermediates, everyone going the same direction, and Martin will be hoping to get more laps out of this than he managed in qualifying, and try and keep all four wheels on his wagon. Get your predictions in quick, and a big thank you to GT Omega, Nelcut Hall, gridfinder.com, and Driver61. It's lights out and away we go in Singapore at IRL's F1 division. The Haas away well, as is the McLaren behind the Williams of Kimi. Everybody just treating this very cautiously, as they probably should be doing. Foxy less so. Foxy's on the attack as ever, but Foxy up into P5 already. Burmeister up to P6, just going around the outside of Livingwall, but up at the front, Big Bambino away safely. Kimi with him, and Max and Speed Queen as you were. Foxy in P5 and Burmeister chasing up behind. We've got a move from Martin trying to get the inside line into turn 7, and a successful move from Martin up to P8 from P10 off the grid. The AI driver will be interesting to follow, Liam, because the AI drivers seem to drive at dry pace regardless of the condition. It doesn't seem to affect the cars at all. So I would imagine that that P11 car of Liam's Ghost will be competitive until the track starts to dry up. But Burmeister slipping back now, and Speed Queen and Max very close to one another as they head through the second sector of the race. Speed Queen, you get an idea about the visibility, but it will be worse than this in her cockpit. The spray just tends not to render very well for the spectator view of the race compared to the drivers. Foxy closing in now, and getting an idea about where he is better than the cars ahead, and where he might need to try and harvest and use his ERS. Of course, the DRS won't be enabled while the rain is falling out here. Big Bambino getting the initial fastest lap, of course. He leads from Kimi and Max, Speed Queen, and we ride with Foxy on the hunt down here for P4. This will do for Foxy. This set of results, 3rd, 4th, 5th for these drivers, would mean Foxy can secure the second place in the championship. But we've heard from his engineer already that he's under instruction to win or nothing tonight. So let's see what he can manage. Foxy using a yellow helmet, almost early Hamilton career spec helmet for Foxy. I wonder if that's a nod to him tonight. No special glow-in-the-dark helmets for Foxy tonight. We saw one on Reshka's car, which looked very smart indeed. Kimi starting to close up at the front and challenge for the lead from Big Bambino's here to go over the Anderson Bridge and head towards the hairpin. Big Bambino is definitely on the defensive though now, and Kimi will struggle to get by in this sector of the track unless he can force an error And that's, of course, his main aim here. That and staying very close until he gets to the next DRS zone, which is down the start-finish straight. Absolutely glorious track was carved into the streets of the Marina Bay in Singapore. I hope no one takes it as a flex, but it's one race I have been to in person. I had an absolutely fantastic time out there. I can attest to just how difficult the physical conditions are out there as well. Just walking around and sitting in the grandstand was difficult enough, let alone trying to ride a roller coaster for 2 hours. Kimi 6/10 back. I think Fox is even closer to Speed Queen now, and looking for a good exit, turn 5. No DRS at this stage still. Just looking for slipstream, and Foxy's managed to get it a slipstream here on the back of Speed Queen. It's a bit far back for a dive bomb, unless you're aiming for the exit curb rather than the apex, shall we just say. Foxy trying to navigate this one, but Speed Queen fairly wise to it, leaves a car's width on the inside and gets the power down that fraction of a second earlier than Foxy was able to, but Foxy still staying very, very close indeed. What are the conditions looking like? I think the rain is still falling at a similar rate here. Got a very unhelpful camera angle on the back of the Mercedes, looking at the back tyre when we want to be looking ahead, Mr. Director. Let's see what we can find here then. So Max just dropping back from Kimi. Speed Queen on the defensive, dropping back from Max in turn. Yeah, feel free to ask me over anything I haven't said before about the Singapore race. I did have a very, very good time indeed, but it was very, very warm. Rickart's here cheering on Burmeister. Rickert, haven't seen you before. Welcome to the IRL F1 stream. I'm sure you've seen Burmeister racing before though, as he's in P6 at the moment and doing very well, making up places already in the race. Let's have a quick look at progress through the field. 2 up for Burmeister, 3 up for Martin. Liam is flattering to deceive slightly on Martin's progress, given that he... Oh, we've got an accident back there. It's Livingwall, the first major retirement from the race. It's Livingwall just turning the car around. There you can see he's lost it on the exit of turn 5, an unusual place to see a car exit the race, and of course a safety car is an immediate decision when the car is stranded in the middle of the track like that. Ask Nelson Piquet Jr. about how easy it is to trigger a safety car. Yeah, there it is. Unfortunately, our first safety car on lap 4. Big Bambino, Kimi, Max and Speed Queen are where they started in the top 4, but Foxy's made up a place and Burmeister has made up 2. Now the driver's going to have to be very careful here, as we've got problems under the safety car already. Max has picked up a drive-through penalty. Max, in his bid for his first win of the season, that's definitely not going to help. He can't serve that under the safety car, I don't believe, but it does also look like some of the rain is stopping. Perhaps not in this section of the track, but in the middle sector it looked like a drop in the actual falling rain on the camera lens at least. Now that can be deceptive. Sometimes the only real way to see is if we can read the tyre temperatures on the drivers. It looks like Big Bambino really struggling to keep the car within the Delta time as Big Bambino comes into the pits. So does Kimi and Max. Speed Queen 2, have they all noticed that the rain is stopping, or are they all just coming in for fresh inters? Speed Queen gets a smash up the rear end from Foxy, very rude, as they head into the pits. Martin almost clatters into all of them. a bit like Kimi Räikkönen did at the Canadian Grand Prix. Kimi Räikkönen had done to him at the Canadian Grand Prix, I should say. Foxy dropping down and causing a stack for the AI driver. It looks like some drivers are choosing soft tyres out here already. So it did, I think I was reading it correctly, and the rain had started to ease off. So we have, yes, medium tyres on the majority of the drivers, but Speed Queen has gone aggressive for soft tyres, which is what we like to see. Foxy's lost out in a big way through that sequence, having to queue up as the first pitting driver. He's had to wait for the entire field to pass him before he was able to be released from the pit box. So Charlie says outrageous from Speed Queen. Is that just from holding up the field a little? I don't know if it's awful. It didn't look like a brake test. It looked like she was just a little bit more conservative in wet conditions, getting the car stopped. You want to watch the race I did last night for one of the most comedic sequences of drivers pitting under wet conditions I've ever seen. It was quite something, as drivers, one after the other, failed to get the cars down to pit lane speed limit. Big Bambino leads though from Kimi and Max. Speed Queen in 4th, but Foxy's dropped down to 8th. Burmeister in 5th, Martin in 6th, Reshka 7th, and then behind Foxy is Matty and Liam's Ghost is circulating behind the rest of the drivers, but not going to be picking up points tonight. We have 9 humans in charge of their cars so far. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree on the pitting there. I'm afraid it didn't look so egregious as to be deliberate. A bit, you know, in the Jeddah sense, it looked much more like someone being cautious on the way into the pits. But we'll have to agree to disagree. I don't have the telemetry to read it and and wade in on that one. We'll go round again though. It looks like the safety car fancies another run out there, just to make sure that we're under full dry conditions before we can get going, and we'll have an interval between the restart and the and any DRS being awarded. Foxy P8, I'm sure we'll get the tyres up to temperature, but Burmeister might be gunning for a 1-stop tonight. Charlie says Speed Queen never gives away her telemetry either. No, she doesn't give away her strategy, her tyre usage, nothing. She is a brick wall when it comes to giving away information to the competition. You're absolutely right on that one. Tight-lipped is the way to be for Speed Queen, at least. Well, Big Bambino held off Kimi successfully up to the first pit window. Now, how are the drivers going to tackle this this racetrack in the dry conditions? As you can see, it's not fully dry as they head towards the 3rd sector. You might still see some spray. Let's see what the track looks like from Big Bambino perspective. I think if we get around the hairpin, that was where we saw a little bit of spray, but it looks like the track's starting to dry very well now. When I was out there in Singapore, never felt like any rain would ever clear up, but sometimes it was steaming off the hot pavements. Absolutely stunning location for a race. We will get safety car in this lap, and you can still see a little bit of spray on the camera lens, on even on our view here on the back of Big Bambino. So the car's now in the heat cycle, trying to generate or keep some temperature in those tyres. Look for Speed Queen to be on the attack, look for Burmeister to be on the defence, and as ever, look for Foxy moving up the field. He qualified high up for once, but he's ended up back where he often starts, with in the midfield, near the back, trying to recover a race from a difficult position. Max has got a drive-through penalty to serve. I believe he'll be able to peel into the pits right now to serve it. In fact, he'll have to do that pretty soon. He's electing not to. He wants to get the race underway. So Speed Queen has dropped the car. Speed Queen has spun and is pointing the wrong direction. I'm sure there'll be some peals of laughter and some shouts of karma for that one after the opinions I was reading in the live chat. But Speed Queen, all that advantage of the soft tyres just disappearing as Big Bambino up in the lead is away from Kimi and is starting to pull a gap. Foxy has made it one place, but that's just profiting from Speed Queen's misery. Foxy trying to stay with Reshka here, but it looks like Martin, the guy who's done the best work on his tyres, as he chases down Burmeister for a potential 5th place. Martin be very grateful for this race situation so far because of his poor qualifying, losing the car almost where just in front of where Speed Queen did in qualifying. Predictions coming in about Burmeister struggling in the restart. Yeah, he's absolutely playing defensive. Affirm that, Ivan, with losing 3 seconds now to Max, locking up on the way into turn 14. And it's very difficult for him. Well, we get a lunge from Martin up the inside. He tried it, but it's not a huge braking zone into turn 16. And now you've just got to follow your lead around here and hope they make a mistake on exit of turn 21 as you head towards the final 2 turns. Very, very close, and we've got a bit of a Burmeister hard tyre train going on as Big Bambino gets the fastest lap on the dry tyres. First circuit, lap 8, as we restart the race. Speed Queen with it all to do now, and on the wrong kind of tyres in this situation. We'll be praying for another safety car. And who's to say that won't be taking place? Looks like a bit of a wiggle coming out of the corner from Reshka, now forcing to be on the defensive from Foxy, who launches one up the inside, over the inside curb. That looked a little bit cheeky from Foxy, but he got there, and the game allowed it, so play on. As Foxy now defending to the middle of the road on the way into turn 7. Foxy launched himself at that gap, and it paid off. Next up there, just ahead of them, is Martin, right behind Burmeister here. The gap's opening up at the front. See those brutal curbside wall sections, very Formula E style renter concrete barrier. They look brutal when you're looking behind in the wrong direction of the racetrack. Burmeister trying to get off the hairpin here. He's got the inside line. He's just about ahead on the next corner, but the next corner turns left and then quick, sharp right. He'll be able to hang this one in. We see a terrible camera angle, my apologies, but Martin gets by Burmeister on lap 8 for P4 in the Ferrari. And he'll be eager to head up towards Max, who's currently sitting on a podium on the road, but he's got a drive through to pay off. We've got Foxy hounding the back of Burmeister. I've got to stop using Fox and hound in the same sentence, but it just comes to mind for some reason. Foxy chasing him down now as Liam's Ghost gets by the pitting Max pitting with that drive through, and Speed Queen gets by as well on the soft tyres. Speed Queen is catching the group ahead. She's got more pace on these soft tyres, but of course will definitely be pitting again and sooner than the medium runners. Burmeister trying to hang on and looks to have just unlocked a little bit of pace now as Foxy is struggling here. Reshka around the outside of turn 7. Excuse me. Turn 9. Now into the short straight at the far east of the circuit, far west of the circuit. I'm getting communication that Massey is in the chat. I don't think Michael Massey will be touching any form of digital device that's internet connected for some time. Foxy is right up the back of Burmeister, going for the inside line, trying it, but he can't quite get there. Burmeister catching, no, sorry, he can still see Martin ahead. Martin on a potential third place at the moment, but with a penalty. Oh no, 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 Burmeister going wide. I didn't see if he fell or if he was pushed, but he's down to 7th place. Foxy up to 4th and 2 seconds off a potential podium here. And his main championship rivals for that 2nd place in the championship are all behind him now. It's looking good. So on lap 10, it's Big Bambino ahead of Kimi. Martin, Foxy we ride with, who's got Reshka right behind him, and then Matty. All those drivers stopped for medium tyres as the track dried out between the safety car situation. Then we've got Reshka, Matty, Burmeister, Speed Queen, Liam and Max. Liam is not actually driving tonight, it's his ghost, and will presumably start to drop back from the rest of the field. Now we've got dry conditions, but Big Bambino out there in the lead by 1.3 seconds. Then Kimi is 8.6 ahead of Martin. So it's the two at the front, very much in a race of their own so far, but it's Foxy versus Speed Queen and Max for the 2nd place in the championship. Speed Queen and Max very much very close to one another on the points count back for 3rd and 4th currently. Foxy just needs to score similarly to those drivers in order to hold on to that 2nd place in the championship. But is it win or bust for Foxy Red 2000? Mr. Stim, our steward, says, oh no, is that Burmeister again? Burmeister spinning hugely coming out of the final corner. We've seen that corner wipe out 3 drivers tonight now, and he's got the longest possible trip around the track. There's debris all over the inside of turn 24 and against the pit wall, and Burmeister falling to the very back of the grid. He's got 20 laps to go in this race. Is that enough for a new set of mediums to the end? I'm not sure that it is. It's high-deg circuit out here, and Burmeister losing it again and driving around with no front wing, just about staying in the race, but unfortunately that's all she wrote for his competition in this round 14 of the season. This is a nice battle developing for 3rd place. Foxy has caught Martin quite quickly, but Reshka is staying very much with him back there in 5th. Matty in 6th. Speed Queen in 7th is now 5.5 seconds off the back of Matty, but very much on the wrong tyres at this stage. Yeah, Mr. Stim's VSC button isn't working, he says, to rescue people's races. Well, we should probably just do that on the final lap, right? Reshka, it goes to something, doesn't it? I have to just say this. It goes to something when F1 2021, the game, as we all know it and have a love-hate relationship with it, and its race logic does not allow a safety car to run and leave a single sprint lap at the end of a race. Foxy in 4th place now, under half a second behind Martin, and we'll see if he can utilize some DRS very soon. He's got coming out of turn 5. This should be his opportunity. DRS is open and heading to try and get the inside line. He dummies to the outside, he swings round the outside, and he's got the inside line into turn 8. A little bit of wheel banging. Martin did not take that very kindly, and Foxy elbows out, forces his way around, and gets his way up to P3 then. Martin racing with a 3-second penalty. That's the only unpaid penalty so far on our grid, and as I say, it's difficult to attract too many penalties around here. We've had a drive-through for Max though. Mr. Stim looking to try and have some ways of manipulating the race and actually have live race control. And as Ivan says, that's not fair if you've got a human in charge of a race conditions, is it? We'd have arguments and people with problems if we had anything like that going on. Well, Foxy's got no concerns about the cars behind him anymore. Martin is looking more vulnerable to Reshka than he is threatening Foxy. Foxy's got a 10-second gap up to the second step on the podium, and it's there's a long way left to go in this race. We could have more safety cars. Looks like Reshka getting the job done on Martin, with a little bit wider berth given between the two cars than we saw a lap ago. Of course, we know Mr. Stim's joking, of course. I wonder if Mr. Stim just uses a live camera on Foxy's car the whole race just to closely monitor the behaviour of our most steward attracting driver. Burmeister's been given a 5-second penalty for multiple warnings. That's an interesting one. Is that corner cutting or something else? Interesting to pick up a 5-second penalty. At that point must have been a particularly bad corner cut. Speed Queen has made it up to P7, but she's still 5 seconds back from Matty, and those soft tyres are going to start feeling very old now on the car. Reshka starting to pull away from Martin, so Martin was definitely a bit of a cork in the bottle. He gained a few places relative to the early pit lane drivers of the Red Bull and Mercedes teams, but looks like things are just normalising themselves somewhat with Foxy on the aggressive. Still 10 seconds from Kimi. It's going to be a tough night's job to catch a 10-second lead from a driver like Kimi. Although, of course, more caution periods may come into this. Lap 14. Almost at halfway distance, and Big Bambino leads by now 2.8 seconds. Super impressive from Kimi's Williams. Then Foxy in third, nearly 10 seconds behind. We've got Reshka behind him. Martin in the Ferrari hanging on gamely in P5. Matty P6 in the Williams. Williams, one of the few teams with two cars in the fight tonight. Speed Queen running in 7th, 8-lap-old soft tyres, still gaining on Matty ahead, and I'm sure that delta will be her indicator for when to come into the pits. Max is in P8, and as I mentioned before, Liam's AI will not score points tonight. We're kind of forgetting about Liam's AI. We've got 8 humans in the race so far. Let's see how Kimi and Big Bambino are doing up there. And we'll cut to Max shortly, because he's starting to close on the back of Speed Queen, who he's fighting for P3 and 4 in the championship with right now, especially with Foxy up there in P3. So Max closing in on the driver in front, just getting slightly loose on the way through the stadium section. Speed Queen, is she pitting? Yes, she is, off the soft tyres. There was the trigger point for her, and we'll see what kind of tyres she elects for. Of course, she's got the option of pitting to the end now. I would imagine mediums will go to the end fairly securely from here, as we've got 16 laps to go. Let's see what tyres she elects for. It is indeed medium tyres, so a further caution, further safety car period here for Speed Queen could rescue her race. Should be pitted to the end, unlike all the other drivers who are on older mediums that are left in the race. Obviously Burmeister gambled on the hards and it didn't work out for him, so everybody on a different strategy, on the same consistent strategy I should say, apart from Speed Queen, who's got those fresh mediums on. I imagine most of the drivers could get these mediums to a point where they can put softs on at the end. But of course, Speed Queen, as things stand, currently 30 seconds back from the rest of the field. do hope you're enjoying the race with us tonight. Do remember to like the video if you would for us, please. And as I say, I'd love it if you'd let us know of any highlights of the season. Get those ready, get those clips ready for the final race and the build up to the final race. That'd be great to see if you've particularly enjoyed anything. Matty with a penalty. They're starting to add up now, these penalties. Martin Matty and Big Bambino up right at the lead of the race has picked one up, as Matty is now trying to get on terms with Martin. Big Bambino, 3-second penalty. He's not far enough away from Kimi, who'll be focusing on that gap intently to see if he can stay within shot of a win tonight. It won't help Foxy at this point. Foxy's been unable to get on terms with Kimi here. Or how many laps? Tell me your target lap in the chat. When would you pit for softs if you had free choice out here? Would it be, what, 6 to go, 7 to go, something like that? Or if you've got a different take, do let me know. Three seconds each for those penalised drivers so far is all we've got. 10 laps on the medium, and we'll watch Speed Queen, who has caught the AI of Liam's significantly, but the overall gap to Max is now 27 seconds, so she's caught by 3 seconds in about 2 laps. It's quite good stuff. I would show you Speed Queen hunting down Liam, but of course Liam is just a ghost, so it's not much of a competition. Max is catching Matty. That's probably the next best battle to watch right now. Max on a recovery drive here, hoping against hope for an issue for Foxy, I imagine, who he's chasing down in the championship. Matty pits on lap 17. Will this be a new set of mediums? Surely he wouldn't put softs on at this stage. Reshka pits as well, so Max up to P5 now and only 1.6 seconds away. Max, every time he gets close to a driver, they pit. So that one's interesting. So how close, I wonder, will Speed Queen get to Matty and Reshka? She'll benefit from an undercut, but she had a big gap to the field to catch. Speed Queen, new fastest lap here. She's really pushing now. 39.209 for Speed Queen, living up to her name. She has undercut Matty significantly there, so that's a big gain for Speed Queen out there. Reshka, though, still some 23 seconds up the road from Speed Queen's car. I think it was Livingwall that was the nearest threat to Speed Queen's 4th place in the championship, so she doesn't need to worry about that too much. It's all about her battle with Max and Foxy. Very sad that we haven't been able to see Daniele doing a last to first challenge tonight. Hopefully he'll come back to us for a victory race, and I'm sure the other drivers will be hoping equally that he turns off those assists, or that assist that he's got left on. Maybe, I think it's ABS, is it? Kimi then, P2, pitting from 2.8 seconds behind the leader. That's going to be an interesting gap to watch then, as he tries to undercut some of that gap and stay within that penalty window. Max has managed to get up to 3rd, but he hasn't pitted for the 2nd time. Medium tyres going on all the rest of the cars now, so they were not able to get these mediums to a point where they could run softs at the end. Looks like an intermedium run tonight for the majority of the field. I'm somewhat surprised that the mediums are only lasting 12 laps, and that could mean that Speed Queen struggles at the end of her stint. She'll be on 2 lap older mediums than everybody else as they race towards the finish line. Speed Queen up to 6th and keeping Matty at bay at the moment. Let's see that battle taking place. The Williams driver Matty trying to get back past Speed Queen, who got the undercut with that earlier stop. Another penalty has been picked up by one of the drivers. That's Kimi now, so Kimi's hunt down for Big Bambino has just been equalised. Foxy is 12 seconds off the pace of the leader so far, but of course that could all change with another safety car. 8 humans remain in this race. Disregard Liam's ghost out there. It's Big Bambino on lap 18 with the lead ahead of Foxy, Max, Kimi, Reshka, Speed Queen, Matty and Martin. And the laps start to count down now. Just 12 to go. Big Bambino, is this him pitting? Yes, I thought he'd made an error because we didn't see the word pit on next to his name. Foxy's trying to get this car as far into the race as possible, and as Big Bambino managed, he goes outside the line twice. In fact, I'm pretty sure Big Bambino making a double error on the way out of the pits, and with our steward watching, I don't know if he would require another driver's report, but unfortunately it's been caught on the stream. So Big Bambino with the DRS open as they head towards turn 7. Tell us, I've been asked for gap to leader. That's absolutely fine, thank you. Tell me, Mr. Stim, what's your view on crossing the white line on exit a la Rosberg so many years ago? Is that an auto penalty, or are you waiting for a driver to report it? Big Bambino then on terms with Kimi, but lost out due to the undercut. Kimi making that. I've got a quadruple X from Mr. Stim. Does that mean penalty, Mr. Stim? Yeah, Kimi within a sec. Big Bambino within a second of Kimi here, going to try and get his lead back. He's been on the defensive. They've got the same number of penalties, but Kimi gained over 2 seconds in a single outlap relative to Big Bambino. Very interesting gap as Speed Queen is starting to close on Reshka and try and get a good result out of this one. Mr. Sim says he's going to look at it for sure. Excellent stuff. Kimi then on a 38.708 with a new fastest lap as he tries to shake off Big Bambino's challenge. Kimi obviously keeping a lot of performance underneath him and waiting to release it on that outlap. Fantastic stuff from Kimi to gain over 2 seconds. Charlie, unusually Charlie, supportive of the steward's actions. Charlie, I'm not sure you've been quite so supportive of the stewards when you, in previous live chats, when it's concerned your driver, of course. Charlie, I wonder, should I just call you Christian? Big Bambino and Kimi still some of the closest drivers on track, although Max looks like he's coming up behind another driver. Looks like Big Bambino just being gapped here from Kimi. Max is very close to Matty, which should mean Matty will pit any minute if this race is true to form. Max is on the newest medium tyres and will try and do 11. Charlie, all I'm saying is that you may have somewhat of a blinkered view when it comes to stewarding decisions around your favourite driver, Mr. Fox. As any good supporter does, I'm sure. Well, Max very much in the wheel tracks of Matty here. Matty will be watching those mirrors and waiting for Max to make the move. They both navigate turns 23 and 24. Matty trying to weave, but Max is already there, pressing the ERS, I'm sure, and getting a nice quick pass done in what is an unusually difficult place to pass turn 1. More of a catch-up kind of zone, but Max gets it done. Mr. Stim quite rightly says he tends to ignore people who tells him what to do. Oh dear. Well, Charlie, I think you've got to be friends with Foxy long enough to see out that charity event that's taking place next weekend. Am I right? Do drop the details out so you can get some support. I believe there's a 24 hours of F1 happening this weekend, and as that doesn't clash with any IRL race, do make sure you tune in and support the charities concerned. Well, Max is now P6 with Speed Queen, championship rivals, not for the lead but for third and fourth positions. They're inverted at the moment. Let's see how these two consistent titans of IRL will fare. They're both desperate to get a win for the first time. Foxy's pitted out there from the front of the grid. He's put mediums on for a 9-lap run at the end and has come out, has he, in always in fourth. Reshka's got by, so Foxy just slipping off the podium slightly. Max is still on the aggressive here. He's got much newer tyres than Speed Queen at this stage, and it looks like, yeah, Foxy fourth place and 7 seconds back from Reshka now. Here we go then. Foxy ahead of Speed Queen, who is just getting challenged by Max, who tries to take the racing line, successfully does through turn 7. Another neat move by Max. He's absolutely bossing these overtakes tonight. Max with some very, very class driving. I'm really impressed with Max tonight. Very much under the car underneath him and driving with that typical patience and decisive moves when it matters. Doesn't tend to need more than one invitation to make a move, and now we'll see what happens as he comes up to challenge Foxy on newer tyres. Foxy he's absolutely got eyes for the podium tonight, but I can't say that the two drivers behind him haven't got the same ambition. We've got, what, 6 laps to go in the race. Anything could still happen, especially up front with the gaps now dropping below a second between Kimi and Big Bambino, and they'll be heading towards the next DRS zone very shortly. So let's go up the field and see how close can Big Bambino get. He's dropped a long way back on the exit of turn 5, sorry. Reshka's retired from the session. Reshka out there in turn 3. What does that mean? We've got a yellow flag out there. Let's see from the perspective of Martin, eyes right to see where Reshka's car is stranded. It's on the outside of turn 3. We might get away without a safety car, but I imagine there'll be several cars desperate to see a safety car at this stage. Big Bambino is within 0.6 of a second now on the back of the lead of this race. Big Bambino with that excellent DRS opportunity that he's earned by staying with Kimi. Looks like Reshka out of the race. We're in between mine and Ivan's predictions here. Ivan predicted 8 drivers, 8 humans, and I predicted 6 will take the finish tonight. So I'm not wishing anyone else to crash out, of course, but I wouldn't mind being right every now and then. Very unfortunate for Reshka. I haven't heard what's happened. Oh no! Out of the track goes Kimi. Kimi making the same error on the exit of turn 3 out of nowhere. Kimi wiping out, has he, the front wing of the car? He has, right at the first sector of the race. He's got a long old way to run around this high downforce circuit. Big Bambino can't believe it. His birthday and Christmas have come all at once, and he's been gifted the lead of this race. A significant lead as well. Where is Kimi going to come out, and will this see Max and Speed Queen actually be fighting for the podium after all? Big Bambino has a penalty, so does Kimi. Foxy and Max racing without penalty at this stage. I haven't heard from anybody since the good luck everyone message that went out from Reshka. Sadly, Liam says his AI is doing better than he would. Well, no comment on that one, Liam. I don't think you're half as bad as the AI is written, but certainly AI is still in the points. Sad to say you won't be scoring any points as a result. Looks like your internet good enough to watch the stream, but obviously, as you say, not good enough to race tonight, unfortunately. Kimi with a hobbled car. He's not doing too badly here, but he's obviously going to drop down when he pits. Although he might put soft tyres on and be a threat, especially if the racing gods decree we ought to have a safety car at the end of this race. If he's on softs, that would be pretty magic. Well, his gap to Foxy now just 6 seconds. Big Bambino getting away comfortably here. Yeah, Charlie raises the possibility of a penalty coming for Big Bambino on his exit from the pits. We could see Foxy, Max and Speed Queen take the eventual podium at the end of this one. Kimi down there in P7 and will slot into that enormous gap between Martin and Liam, I think, when he comes out. Soft tyres are going on the Williams, and we will reconvene with battle for this, what is now second place between Foxy, Max and Speed Queen. Looks like Foxy's got unlocked some pace now, and unfortunately in terms of seeing a challenge at the end of the race, the tyre life is going to suggest, the tyre delta is going to suggest that these gaps are actually going to open up. But 18 seconds is Big Bambino's lead. Even if he were to get a 10-second penalty for skipping that pit exit line, which I don't know, is that harsh? I'm sure Charlie wouldn't think so, but I would have thought a 5-second is about right for a pit lane exit line infraction. Can't say that I've memorized the rules and punishments, but it seems like it's about mine. So lap 26 sees Big Bambino, who got the pole, a fantastic pole position, 18 seconds up the road after one safety car on lap, I want to say 6? I think it was lap 6 the safety car came out, and everybody put medium tyres on after the track started to dry up. They all started on inters. But Big Bambino with an 18-second lead at the moment from Foxy. 2.5 seconds back is Max. Just over that is Speed Queen. Further back then Matty, Martin, Kimi and Liam's AI. Racing in 8th right now. Martin is 1.6 seconds back from Matty, but Kimi's got quite a job to do. He has 5 laps to gain 11 seconds under normal conditions. Big Bambino has just caught another penalty, I believe, and that's going to be an issue for him later on if he is going to get any kind of penalty for that pit lane exit. If it's a 6-second penalty, he's cutting it quite fine now. Martin catching Matty, hand over fist here. Martin's 6/10 now behind Matty. Matty's been looking in his mirrors a lot tonight. New fastest lap from Kimi, a 37.731. Just see how close that is. Obviously, he's on the soft tyres, but How much faster is that? It's a lot faster, so it's unlikely that if we run this race to the end under green flag conditions, it's unlikely anybody will better Kimi's fastest lap time. It's got to be painful for Kimi to lose the lead of the race like that. Painful too for Reshka. Burmeister didn't get particularly far in the race, but also wiped out. And Livingwall similarly. And we've got 7 drivers trying to reach the end of this attrition marathon of a Singapore Grand Prix. Martin now just half a second back from Matty. Foxy has got to within 17 seconds of the race lead. Martin very close now to the back of Matty, losing a little bit of aero performance on the way through the final 2 corners. I don't think we'll close up enough into turn 1, but Matty misses in the apex of turn 1. That allows Martin to close up tighter, with Matty having an oversteer moment on the exit curb of turn 3 and 4. Turn 5 fairly comfortable, and it'll be DRS again here. I think Martin will have an opportunity heading towards turn 7. Comfortably by. Can he hold the car to the apex and the exit curb? Yes, he can. And Martin gets by Matty for P5 on lap 28. 3 laps to go in our race tonight. That was the closest battle on track, as typically for a street circuit, the gap's opening up. Foxy's trying to close as much as possible. He's now within that window, should Big Bambino end up with a 10-second penalty for cutting the pit exit or overstepping the pit exit line twice. But we'll have to call the race as we see it on track. And if something changes midweek, I'll let you know next week at the start of the broadcast. It's a final race next week. We're going to Mexico. So I do hope you've enjoyed the race with us tonight. If you have, please leave us a like on the video. Follow us on socials as well. The links at the top of the live chat. Matty's trying to stay with Martin, succeeding so far. Staying within that DRS zone, which will help him power on through the straights. We will see Martin, Matty and Kimi serving penalties at the end of the race, similar to Big Bambino. Foxy's now within 14 seconds of the race lead, but it may not be enough. Looks like Martin has got the pace over Matty here. Kimi is closing very quickly on the drivers in front, still going for qualifying laps here to try and rescue this race. But I don't think we're going to get a safety car at the end of this one. Martin with a very solid race tonight. After a problematic qualifying. Shows a lot of determination to run this 31 lap race from the back of the grid. Speed Queen seeing this race out now, trying to get these mediums to the end of the race. They must be very difficult to handle. Let's ride with her and see how the car is going. Of course, she won't tell us if the car's been difficult to handle or what kind of percentage the tyre wear has got to. We'll just have to make our own guesses based on the way the car's handling. Slightly loose, but nothing too dramatic. Maybe that's just driver skill. So you're not struggling to get the car away from the corners too much. Maybe missing the apexes fairly regularly, but might just be avoiding those apex curbs to minimise tyre wear. Not that one. She's completely straddled the apex curb nicely. Kimi closing in on Matti here. I don't know if Matti will want to let his teammate by this late stage, especially as Matti has been the full-time driver for the Williams team this season. Kimi has more pace around Singapore than Matti, but Matti will be looking for a better championship finishing position, and won't be too impressed if his teammate overtakes him right at the end. Let's see what these guys do before we cut to Big Bambino, who's about to go lap Liam's AI car. Kimi, quarter of a second back from his teammate Matti, just indicating to Kimi that he's not in any mood to give the place up. Thank you very much. I'd really like to finish ahead tonight, so it'll be interesting to watch. I think he's got less penalties. No, they're on equal penalties, so it's a straight fight for the end of this one. But let's make sure we give Big Bambino his due parade at the end of the race here. So Big Bambino, pole position, lost out to Kimi with an undercut, but wins in Singapore. Congratulations to Big Bambino with a fantastic measured drive out there, and kept his head while other people failed to. Big Bambino with a great pace and the victory tonight. Foxy finishes under 7 seconds behind Big Bambino after the penalties are claimed back, and Max gets another penalty. Max gets another podium for this Singapore Grand Prix, and I think my Driver of the Day award would go to Max if I had any say in it. Speed Queen P4 will it be to finish this one out? Yes, indeed. Martin gets the 5th place. Matti kept his position over Kimi at the end, and that's the end of our Singapore Grand Prix. Really hope you've been enjoying it. Abby says she's the Christian Horner for Team Has-Beens, and she's going to be moaning all the way through. Martin gets the official Drive of the Day for places gained, but I think he did have a mistake in amongst all of that, so I would give it to Max if I had a vote. Big Bambino with a brilliant victory, and congratulations to our Canadian driver with a strong drive around the difficult streets of Singapore. Foxy with P2 and Max in P3. So just to take you through the grid order, as the rain has apparently started to fall again, it's Big Bambino in the Haas for Canada, winning the race from pole with just a couple of track limit penalties and a possible asterisk after that pit lane exit, but Big Bambino a deserving win on the track. Foxy in 2nd place with a good recovery, albeit slightly problematic middle to the race. Max driving a strong race with some great overtaking in P3, and then just behind Max comes Speed Queen, Martin, Matti, Kimi were your 7 humans taking the finish. Liam's AI raced the whole race and went down a lap, and then we lost Reshka, Burmeister and Livingwall prematurely from our Singapore Grand Prix, which was sponsored by GT Omega, Nelcut Hall, and with partnerships from Driver61 and gridfinder.com. My name is Webbo. I hope you've been enjoying the broadcast tonight. You can follow me on Twitter at WebboRed5, and I will be taking new commissions for the January beginning season very soon. So I hope you've had a good time. Thanks to everybody for the live chat. I don't think we quite hit 100 comments tonight, but we were getting close. So a big thank you to everybody who chimed in. Thanks to anyone watching on demand later on. Make sure you've liked the video before you disappear and subscribe to the channel, where you'll see other Invictus Racing League races all the rest of this week. Same time, same place. And don't forget to tune in to see us next Monday. In between that, over the weekend, watch the 24 hours of F1, or at least send a little something towards the charitable effort going in. And apart from all of that, I hope everybody has themselves a good week ahead, and I will catch you all on the next race day.